Ensign Tilly isn't a cat person. Discovery adds a letter to its name. And self-sealing stem bolts make their triumphant return. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Seventh Rule with Cirroc Lofton.
Hello, hello.
My name is Ryan T. Husk, and we are doing a review today of Discovery, Season 3, Episode 6, Scavengers, directed by Douglas Arnielkowski. I should have practiced that name. We are here with associate producer John Tufarella.
What's going on, guys?
It's going to be a big one. It's going to be a fun one. I think this is the first time I've seen this director's name, so I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce it. It looks Polish. How you guys doing?
Not doing good. Yeah.
Awesome. So the elephant in the room is self-sealing stem bolts. Am I right?
Yeah, I was happy when I heard that reference.
Yeah, me too. That was a pleasant surprise.
As soon as I saw that, I was like, damn, I wish I could have seen Cirroc's reaction there. Did you rewind it? You guys rewind it to make sure you heard it right, or were you sure?
I've watched it twice. So
yeah,
I missed the first time I tried catching.
This is actually back-to-back kind of homages to Aaron Eisenberg, which is great.
Right.
You've got the USS Eisenberg, or the USS Nog, Eisenberg class.
Right.
And then you follow that up with this self-sealing stem bolt reference, which is obviously the scene that Nog and I did many years ago. And I thought that was kind of funny that they brought it back up and made it part of Discovery.
Yeah. I was surprised, too, that they did two in a row. You know, they did the USS Nog and they did the self-sealing stem bolts. But that was pretty awesome, and I did rewind it like John did just to hear it a second time, even though there's no mistaking that you're hearing it. That was really cool. I don't know if that's – I feel like that's something that would have been on Lower Decks. You know what I mean? Like that definitely seemed more of a Lower Decks reference, but maybe Lower Decks asked the people at Discovery, you guys already doing self-sealing stem bolts? And they're like, yeah, we already did. And they're like, okay, we'll do something else then.
Well, I mean, they say stuff comes in threes, so I'm looking for the third nod.
Nice.
I think there'll be another one.
The nods.
The nog nods.
The thing that actually crossed my mind, the first thing, aside from the fact that, oh, wow, this is a reference from, DS9, was how many takes it took them to get that right. You know, just because our story behind it has so many takes behind it. So that was the first thing. I wonder how many takes it took. It was Sonequa, I believe, that did that scene and said those words. But I was wondering how many times it took. And I was also thinking, what the hell do they need self-sealing stem bolts for? Because I got plenty of them if you want some.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, whole storage locker.
Yeah, no, she really nailed it, though. Like, because that's, it's not easy to say it, so I do wonder, too, like, how many takes it took. I noticed that Michael Burnham, what's her name? Who plays it?
Sonequa?
Yeah, Sonequa Martin Green. She speaks quickly and efficiently like a Vulcan, or like a Vulcan presumably would. And so I do wonder how she masters those lines, because it's hard to be constantly saying a bunch of lines really quickly. She speaks more quickly than most people do. And that one would have been super evident. She must really practice her lines over and over and over again so that she can fly through them, rather than being like, well, make sure that you do this and that and whatever. She's like, make sure you do. So kudos to her for knocking out self-sealing stem bolts so quickly. We do it because we say it all the time.
Well, I'm going to give a nod back to when she was on The Walking Dead. Anytime that she had lines on there, they were usually pretty extensive and a lot more complicated than most of the cast. Like when they gave her parts, she ran with them, and so she's got some experience there. I'm not sure what else she's been in other than Discovery and Walking Dead. That's all I know her from, but she was pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah, I like her performance in this one too as well. I just think she's a really great actress. I know people have mixed feelings about her, but she hits all type of notes that I think should be recognized. Specifically, just these emotional, subtle beats when she's either being called out on her love interest with Book, or also when she's kind of going through when her and Giorgio are exchanging words. There's a lot of beats that she plays that register well for me, and I think that makes her really a fine actress. She plays the awkward beat, she plays the confident beat, she plays the tough girl beat. She's really hitting all of these emotional buttons within the middle of a scene. So I think she's definitely one of the driving forces of this show, if not the driving force.
Oh, sure.
She's emotional. Yeah, I really feel the emotional impact that she makes on the show.
Also, very quickly, we do want to mention something about our friends at Eaglemoss. This episode is brought to you by Eaglemoss Hero Collector and the official Star Trek Discovery Starships collection. Get the USS Enterprise NCC 1701 Starship for only $9.95, plus the Star Trek Picard 2021 wall calendar for free when you sign up today at herocollector.com/7th rule. using promo code 7RULE. So the website is herocollector.com/7th spelled out rule, and use the promo code 7, the number 7, and RULE at checkout. We will include that in the description box below. So just click on that link, check it out, use 7RULE at checkout. What do you guys think of Tilly, by the way? Oh, and one more thing. The holidays are coming up, so get that 2021 wall calendar, the Picard wall calendar. When I saw that, I checked out the website myself, and there was a lot of really good stuff there. John Tufarella, actually, you know all about it because you are a cards and games collector.
Yep, I am very familiar with Eaglemoss. They do a fantastic product. That's something I'm trying to actually, stock at the shop. But yeah, no, check them out. Subscribe, get their ships. You won't regret it.
Oh, good.
This is the new Picard calendar for the new show?
Yeah, for Star Trek Picard, it's 2021 calendar just in time for the holidays. We got more information if you're wondering about it. As a subscriber, you're also entitled to free gifts worth over $150, including the USS Shenzhou dedication plaque and the USS Discovery, and you may cancel your subscription at any time. And the website. We'll include that in the link below. Anyway, lots of good stuff. I checked out their ships. It was a lot of fun. I kind of felt nerdy, and I kind of got excited about the holidays. But let's move on and talk about Tilly, shall we? Speaking of nerdy people, who delivers her lines beautifully as well.
Her interaction with cats is about what my interaction with my girlfriend's cat is.
That's what I was referencing. Oh, you're not a cat person, John?
Oh, not particularly. But her cat's... We've had some issues with her cat and it using the litter box appropriately.
She's trying to assert her dominance.
No, she's just ancient.
Oh,
I thought the cat in that particular scene with Tilly was pretty friendly, because I've had cats that squirm away when you try to pick them up, and they won't even let you play with them as much as that one did.
Right.
And that cat also crawled on Tilly's back and kind of was walking on her shoulder, which is another thing that is difficult to get a cat actor to do, right?
Right. I was thinking about that too. I wonder if that was done deliberately, or if she just did that, crawled on her back, and Tilly, of course, went with it. Because, by the way, shout out to Mary Wiseman. She's an excellent actress. Every episode, I keep thinking, regardless of what lines she's given, whether they're good or bad or average or just a yes, sir, she always delivers them well, and she brings something new to the table with them. And I feel like maybe that cat just crawled on her back and she just went with it. She's like, okay, let me keep playing with it. And
that would be my opinion, because
cats like to have a mind of their own.
Our cat has done that a lot. Like, she'll climb up on your shoulder and walk around, then she'll just start walking on your back. And if you don't want those claws to sink in because she's trying to hold from being at an angle, you'll lean forward so she's more stable.
Yeah, I was thinking when they did that scene, how they were able to get the cat to respond so well, because it also jumped off her back and went underneath the bed. And I'm just thinking, wow, that's a really smart cat.
Who do you think's a better actor?
My cat only came around when it was feeding time.
Who do you think's a better actor, the cat or Odo when he was a rat? Because that rat was pretty good in Deep Space Nine.
I remember that rat.
Or maybe Odo plays the cat too. Maybe it's a changeling.
The cat and the rat. No, I was impressed by this cat's performance. I have to say, I thought it was pretty amazing. I thought for a second if it was CGI'd or not, because it was responding so well. Yeah, I just thought, well, how many times could they get this cat to crawl on her back and how many takes would they have to get this right? And also kind of jump off of her back at the right moment so that she could respond to that. So I actually was impressed by the cat. But, you know, I also want to give the kind of praise that Tilly deserves as an actress. You mentioned her. And I think she's really fantastic. She's kind of the Swiss Army knife of this show, in the fact that she can really play dumb, and then she can also play really smart. And also being emotionally there for Saru and giving him the kind of good advice that she does, I think is important in the show. It just makes me literally kind of not like the fact that she's not moving up, because her being called ensign is kind of a little disrespectful at this point when she's shown that to be so capable.
Well, Star Trek does have a history of sometimes moving ensigns up and sometimes keeping them there for many, many, many years.
Yeah.
Sometimes they move up, but good job. Yeah. But good job to Aaron Eisenberg and Ensign Nog for moving up so quickly from cadet to ensign to lieutenant junior grade. But yeah, I don't know. Tilly, I mean, she's been part of the crew for maybe what amounts to be 2 years. So it's okay if she's not moving up yet, but it does seem like it's getting close to time to give her some kind of promotion, right?
Yeah, I mean, she went from cadet originally, which I never understood why a cadet was on the ship.
She was, yeah.
To begin with. So I think they should have started her at an ensign and then kicked her up to lieutenant at least.
That's true.
She knows a lot about different things. So she really works well with Stamets' character. She works well with Saru. I just like her interaction. She's kind of the I don't know, the most like regular people here in this modern day and age that we live in today, so-called modern, but she reminds me just of the average person, because her curse words are well placed, her emotions are expressed in kind of timely manner. So I just feel like she's like goofy in a really kind of cool, nerdy way. I like it.
It makes me wonder, kind of like even in Enterprise, a lot of the crewmen were non-coms, so they were just crewmen with no rank. Because she seems to be, given a lot of directions and orders every time she's in engineering. So I'm guessing most of the engineering staff are probably non-commissioned officers.
Right. And, I'd forgotten that she started off as a cadet. So, yeah, maybe she's got a little bit more time to work on. But with Discovery, they're out in the future. Anything can happen now. Like, the Federation is decimated. I do think, again, I've mentioned this before, but Saru needs a supporting staff. Like, he has nothing around him. He has Michael Burnham, who doesn't even really want to be there. But even with her, he doesn't have a supporting. He's got nobody else. Like, there's nothing, it's so bad that he's confiding in this second-year ensign. Like, is he going to make Ensign Tilly his first officer? He's running out of options. Like every other Star Trek series, the captain has a really strong supporting cast. They've got a whole bunch of lieutenants and commanders in the senior staff meetings, in ops, right? Sisko's got Dax, he's got Bashir, he's got, Kira, he's got Worf, he's got all these people. And that's just for the space station, which originally wasn't supposed to need a lot. Most other captains that we've seen, they have 5, 6, 7 other senior staff surrounding him. Saru has Michael, and that's it. And he needs, so it looks like maybe Lieutenant Nilsson might be his first officer next, because I would have thought maybe Lieutenant Nan would be next in line, but she's gone fishing, so now it might be Nilsson.
I think Nilsson needs her own episode.
Right. Or it might be that chief of security lady whose name I forgot, that is the chief of security on this, you know, in Starfleet headquarters. Remember the lady that's kind of shown the stuff on the ship? I think she might end up becoming like a permanent fixture to replace Non, possibly. What do you guys think?
I hope not.
Yeah, I think there's a few characters that are not developed enough, and one of them is the Asian guy that's in the background, and I think his name is Reese.
Yeah.
Reese, I think he needs more storyline and more character development, because I don't really know anything about him. He pops up, he says things, but I don't know anything about him. I don't feel any chemistry with him and relationship building with him and other characters. And also the black guy who's also there.
Bryce. Very similar names. Basically,
Yeah.
Reese and Bryce and Owaskian and Detmer, all four have the same job, okay? Reese and Bryce look at each other and smile or do like a fist bump or a thing, right?
Mhm.
And Detmer and Owaskian look at each other and go, whoo. Like that, those
Mhm.
four are relegated to just looking at their counterpart every episode and sometimes saying, aye, sir, or holy shit, or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, and to your point, if Saru's going to have a well-developed team, then you need to get some of these guys that are in that mix and build up on their character, give them some more to do, give them some conversations that build relationship. Because otherwise, it feels like I have 3 or 4 people on that bridge that I don't know anything about. And
I've even.
yeah, and we were watching any of the shows. It doesn't matter. You knew everybody who was in that room in that main bridge. It was everybody had a character, an importance, a name. You knew who they were. You knew their backstory. But in this one, we keep developing, and now we're developing Booker and other ancillary characters, right? Including this admiral who's doing a fantastic job as an admiral, I think. But so we're starting to build their characters, and the guys who literally flew into 1,000 years in the future, left their whole life behind. They're not getting like enough follow-up, in my opinion. So,
and poor Saru's on an island out there with no support. You're right. He's probably going to be like, okay, I need a first officer, and they're all going to be like, oh, I can do it. He'll be like, who are you again? You never say anything. I don't know who you are.
Right, Reese. No, I'm Bryce. That's Reese.
So that was my big problem with Burnham being so much of the main focus in every single episode. They need to pan back and showcase everybody else. I think at least everybody should have their own individual episode. And if they had done more short tracks, I think each of the characters should have had their own short track, because that would have even filled in a lot of their background and their story, so we would have got to know them a little bit better that way. If nothing else.
Mm-hmm. A little 10-minute short trek for Owaskian or for Detmer or something like that, so we know who they are. That's a really good point. Yeah. You know what they might do? They might just bring in a new character. Saru might just go to the Admiral and say, hey, I'm without a first officer. And the Admiral's like, good. That woman was showing me up a little too much. And he'll be like, here is a trusted commander that I know and like. You can have him or her. And, they might just bring in a completely new character that kind of fills half the void that Michael Burnham, leaves on the ship, and fills the character void that Nod had. Just a few lines here or there, gives good advice, something like that. Because the only person Saru's talking to is Tilly, and she's a freaking second-year ensign. Like, that's not going to work. And the others, the bridge characters, I don't think they've been developed so little that it would feel like it's coming out of left field if somebody becomes first officer. Maybe that Nilsson lady, Lieutenant Nilsson, who was the actress that played Ariam, because she's the lady that sits on the chair when Saru and Michael are gone, so she's technically third in command. But who knows if she can.
She seems the most easy to plug into that position, and then at that point they do need to give her, maybe before they make her the actual, first officer, give her an episode that she faces some situation, she kicks ass, does it really well. Oh, and Saru is like, oh, well, damn, guess what? You're now, XO.
Maybe gives her a couple lines. Yeah.
Are we talking about the same character that has that thing over her eye and she's going through these?
That's Detmer. Nilsson is the blonde lady that's there. She's not one of the two people, Com and Helm, in the front, and she's not one of the two people in the back. She's like the fifth bridge member. She's a blonde lady with long blonde hair. Left. Yeah, and she's kind of basically where Ariam was, and it's the same actress.
So Detmer is the person that is the pilot. She's the one piloting the ship.
Right, and she's got the thing.
Yeah, she stands out the most to me out of the bridge characters that are not talked about that much. She stands out the most, and she's actually had a few incidents where she's been in her thing. But I'm a little bit uncomfortable with the fact that it seems like they're playing whatever's happening to her character also to Giorgio's character, where they're both having these visions that are bothering them. And it's like, it's kind of weird that two characters are having the same kind of thing happening.
It might be linked, yeah. It might be something bigger.
Yeah. But I did like this. I like the return of Book. I think he's a great actor.
You were so happy when they kissed in the turbo lift. I know you've been talking for the last month. You're like, when are they going to kiss? Stupid Linus.
Yeah, you know what? It wasn't the kiss. I actually assumed that they had kissed already for that year that she was on Earth. I mean, when she was away waiting for Discovery to come. So I actually figured that they already kind of did something in that time. No, I just like the fact that he's he eats up the camera. He's really good on the camera, and you listen to what he's saying. He works well opposite Burnham. He softens her up, I think, in a lot of ways. And I like his acting, so I just think he's a good actor in that respect. But it's also kind of strange that, like I said earlier, that they're introducing and building up other characters without kind of getting into the meat of the people that are in Discovery as well. So it's kind of a...
What about Linus? Maybe Linus. That's the Saurian guy.
He's too comical.
Yeah, they are using him for comedy a lot.
Yeah, I'd love to see him front and center a lot more on stuff, but he's the comedic. He's like Rom. The comedic relief.
I like him a lot in this episode. I thought he was the highlight of this episode.
Oh, yeah.
Hopping in and out.
Randomly.
Yeah.
The first time he popped in, wasn't he sitting in the captain's chair? Or, like, standing right in front of it?
Yeah, he was sitting in it, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, that's definitely not where you belong right now.
He's like, this isn't the mess hall.
Yeah.
But I think the reason they wouldn't have Linus is only because it would be weird to have two aliens at the head of the command of the ship. So you've got Saru, and then you would have Linus at his number one. I think that would be too many aliens in charge.
I don't know. Discovery likes to change things up. They might be the first all-alien, backcourt. Going to use a basketball reference, but it just feels like, an all-alien backcourt, what would it be called? Not the senior staff, but, Captain and XO. Could be cool.
As far as Linus goes, there's a couple episodes back when Giorgio showed a lot of interest in him with, his visual spectrum and everything like that. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, maybe that's the way that she stops being a xenophobe. She gets to know Linus, and they do something between those two characters. But I think they dropped that one on pretty quick. I could have seen a thing kicking off somewhere between those two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually did. I thought I've been hard on Giorgio and her role, but I thought she.
You have been very hard on her. You've given her a D so far.
Yeah, but I want to give her
without context, Ryan. Without context.
Good. It's better that way.
I'd like to give her an A in this episode. I thought she did well in this episode. I thought she worked really well, and the tandem of her and Burnham worked well together as well. I mean, I think she kept calling her servant. My servant will get something for me, and I like the way they kind of have this weird, like, they care about each other, but they won't show it too much kind of relationship. So I thought Georgiou was much better in this episode. Obviously, it's because of the writing and the things that they give her to do, but
Right.
she was much better in this episode.
You know, speaking of A, because you said you give her an A today instead of the D, but she's not the only one that got an A in this episode. The Discovery 1031A was added. It was retrofitted. It is officially a new ship now, retrofitted, ready to go, and it has the detached nacelles, and all of the nerds that love the models and stuff were just zooming in on it like it's a new ship. It's got detached nacelles. How's that going to work? How can you have models of detached nacelles? How does that work, John?
Translucent plastic.
That's what I was thinking. So it won't actually, the models won't actually be detached. They'll just be invisible.
I don't know how well this will actually show up, but that is a figure of Boba Fett from Star Wars, and he is on a flight stand, which is clear. So when that's all painted up, you won't really see it. So they'll do something along those lines.
That's my thinking too. So the model will still be attached, but it'll be like pretend unattached.
Yeah.
So what kind of upgrades did they get? I mean, I heard something about programmable matter.
Yeah, not a fan. Not a fan.
Yeah, so all the technology that we saw, you know, in the previous few episodes, they're going to have that, you know, where like the programmable matter comes up to their hands and they're like, ooh, I can control this thing now. And Stamets was saying how the thing's gooey and going in his arm. Although this was one little critique that I had, and usually I don't critique things at all. I'm not a nitpicker.
Not without your tie.
Yeah, that's right. Not without my Picard tie. That's just out of reach. But I would think that it would be wiser to integrate different officers into Discovery, at least long enough for them to train them with the new technology. But otherwise, what they've got is they said, we've integrated all this new technology. Nobody knows how to use it. Oh, and by the way, our bitter rivals could be attacking in the next 12 hours, and we expect you to fly over there and save the day with technology that you don't know how to use. That just sounded like that would never happen. They would definitely train them. They would say, you're not ready, or they would put in a supplementary crew in there. They wouldn't just drop in the technology and be like, all right, cool, you know, figure it out or don't. We don't care.
Well, they did have the one person handing out the new comm badges. They're like, hey, this is your
right.
your transporter, your
Perfect.
Your holo pad, your tricorder, your communicator, all in one.
Yeah.
So now you're not going to see anybody carrying anything around.
Yeah, the thing I had about that was I don't know. I thought this was a good opportunity for them to for the admiral. I forgot his name, but the admiral in this show,
Vance.
Right.
Vance. I thought it was a good chance for Admiral Vance after Burnham gets kind of demoted to place a first officer from his choosing, so that it could accomplish the thing that you were talking about, Ryan, which is having our guys in our timeline learn your technology and what you're doing. And so I'm going to place your first officer on that ship, and it's going to be one of my guys.
Well, they may still do that next episode. They may very well. And I think that the best chances are either a new character or the chief of security lady that he already had. Because remember, we lost Lieutenant Nan, who was the chief of security on Discovery, and they haven't addressed that. They haven't said, here's our new chief of security. They're just like, okay, we don't have a chief of security now anymore. We don't, you know, we lost Commander Landry. We didn't replace her until we got Ash Tyler. Then he left. Then we got added Nan. Now she's gone. They're very nonchalant about their chief of security. You know, they should be called chief of insecurity at this point. Zip, zing.
No, I'll give you that one.
Thanks. I don't know if I deserve it.
I think what we're going to end up facing, and I'm not going to name where I think their exo is going to come from, but I think they're going to pull an Enterprise with us. The whole preview for next week of where it looks like they're headed towards. I think maybe somebody from where their next week's destination is gonna join up. So I'm calling their commander or somebody coming from that area.
Well, yeah, not to get too much into next week, but we've been watching that title all year because it's called Unification Part 3. Cirroc, there was a really cool 2-part episode on Next Generation called Unification Part 1 and 2, and it dealt with the Romulans and the Vulcans hopefully coming back together and unifying, and Spock was trying to make that happen with the help of Captain Picard. So this is clearly going to let us know what happened since then, how that all panned out eventually over the course of 800 years since then. That's next week. I did also think it was cool to see at the beginning where Admiral Vance, you can Vance if you want to.
Oh God.
I know.
No, nope.
How he was giving out. Yeah, there you go. That's
turn on the red. Let's Vance.
Oh, I was thinking you were doing Vance. That's I can't think of the name right now. Anyway, so sorry, John. Sorry, we'll clip this out.
No, leave it. By all means, people need to see this. They'll get you in the comments. Don't worry.
No, they're tuning this out by now. But Vance was giving orders to all these other captains, and it was really cool. I loved seeing who the other Starfleet captains were. There was one of the aliens.
Captain Ramadan.
Yeah, right. Ramadan, very nice. Was the same. I just called that the face alien, but it was the same alien that we have on the bridge of the Discovery. And I forgot what that alien is called, but the people in the comments will remind us. There's a specific alien out there, that was created for Discovery. We haven't seen it before that. But suddenly it happened, and it didn't happen during Next Generation or Deep Space Nine or Voyager. There were these aliens before, and they're the aliens after, but nowhere in the middle. But it's that alien in it, and I can't remember what they're called.
Yeah, I meant to ask you about those aliens because I did notice that too, and he was kind of giving out orders to the other captains. That was a nice little scene there.
It felt very King Arthurish. Yeah, the knights. Did you see that there was a Bajoran in this episode, and that they also mentioned going to the Bajoran exchange to to buy certain parts? Yep. I didn't see the Bajoran, but I caught the Bajoran exchange mentioned 2 or 3 different times.
I thought the Bajoran was the one that tried to go against the fence when they escaped and they got zapped by the. Was he not a Bajoran? The guy.
I don't think he was.
The guy who the guy who took a run for it. He was forced to run out of there and hit the fence and get zapped by the fence.
Right. I believe he was, right? He had the nose ridges.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've seen. Okay. So there were Bajorans, there were humans, obviously Orions and Andorians. They're showing a lot of the things we know and love. By the way, a quick Google search tells us that Osnolus is the kind of alien that we were looking for with the funny, ugly face. Osnolus. So that's
clearly from Denmark. Sounds like an IKEA furniture piece.
IKEA you if you say that again. What's wrong, John? What happened?
Oh, sorry. I went to sleep there for a second.
Okay. All right. Good. You missed out then. We also have this kind of development of Stamets and Adir kind of having their little moment, their little magic moment, and I think Adir reveals that she has an invisible friend.
I think Stamets can see him.
Wow, that's an interesting theory.
I didn't think so. I don't think so. My opinion is no. I think only Adira can see.
I don't know the mycelial network. He's got some extra
powers.
And she
extra power behind him. Yeah.
Sticking stuff in him too. Maybe she put some weird mushroom, stuff in him. By the way, Adira, turns out it's not her first name. It's actually her middle name. Her first name is Ado, and her last name is a female deer.
God.
Right. Feel free to use that with your friends.
I'll pass. Thanks.
No.
I'll feel free to leave that one with you.
Oh, man.
You need to write a book. You need to start writing down all these bad jokes that you do.
No, because then there'll be evidence of that.
No, publish it. Make something on it, publish it, because we're all going to buy one.
Well, then I'm listening.
All right. Well, there you go.
What were you going to say, Cirroc?
No, I was going to talk about a few little things, but they're kind of small. But one of them was Osira. I was kind of wanted to see this Osira character.
I wanted to bring that up too.
Yeah, they kept talking about her. I was like, oh, who is it going to be? I hope she's as evil as Nana's evil alternate version.
Nice.
The intendant?
Yeah, the intendant. I was hoping she'd be like the intendant, but are you thinking we're going to see her, or we're going to come across? I think so. I think we're going to come across this Osira character again in the future.
I hope so.
Yeah, well, we haven't seen her yet, right? I don't think
right.
so.
Well,
right.
a reference.
This would be a NAM. This would be a NAM if we do see her, right?
Right. She's probably had like 3 NAMs already. You're right.
Has she had 3 NAMs already in this?
I mean, I know at least twice 2 separate episodes she's been mentioned, possibly 3. But they're certainly building her up to be the big bad of the season. If I had to guess, I would say she's got to be an Orion, right? I mean, she's probably either an Orion or an Andorian. And, for it to be a female matriarch, I think that knowing Discovery and knowing the history of the Orions, they'll probably make her an Orion, I think, if I had to guess.
Well, the female Orions were always the ones in power to begin with.
Right, as evidenced in Enterprise.
Yep.
What do you guys think? Is she going to be an Orion?
I think it would be a far cry to make her anything otherwise. With him being referred to as, I'm the nephew. I mean, granted, I call people brother that have no blood connection to me to begin with, so it could be that situation as well.
Cirroc calls people nephew, too. What's up, nephew?
What's up, nephew? I think that I was more kind of taken away by the choice of words for her name. I believe that it's a reference to Osiris, which is also a mythological character. Right. So I just figured that obviously in a position of power and authority, that it would be Osiris as the original origin of the name, which has a whole lot of history behind it and mythology. So then they just made a little change on it. So that was one thing that kind of took me back, and I'm eagerly waiting to see how evil and wicked this person is that they talk about, like, Sosa.
Totally. Two things to that. Number one is it might be a combination of 2 mythological characters, Osiris and Ra.
I really hope they go with more of the Egyptian based and maybe throw a nod to Stargate into this.
Yeah, maybe she's got a big thing on her head.
The Goa'uld.
Goa'uld, yeah.
The Goa'uld.
And then the other thing is too, Cirroc, every time when you talk about Osira and you're saying you hope she's wicked like the Intendant, you get a very cheeky grin, which tells me you don't just hope that she's wicked like the Intendant, but that she's also very much like the Intendant in many other ways.
Well, it could be played by Nana for all I care. I would actually like to see
that
her.
Would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to see her guest star and doing her thing again. But she just does such a good job at that character, and it's such a wicked character, but also a playfully sexual character. And I think that the balance there is what really is intriguing. So if they make somebody that has that kind of a balance, I think Georgiou is also really good at that as well. She's good at the wicked, kind of playful, even sexual sometimes in her nature. So I think that strikes a good balance in a evil villain.
Definitely. And if you're looking for that, an Orion female would definitely fit that bill, because they are kind of sexual in nature and playful and intelligent and devious. So yeah, that would definitely work. Although, I mean, Andorians have done their share of stuff. They've been great, but just not quite at that level of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
By the way, there were a lot of heart-to-hearts in this episode. I caught myself in my notes saying, towards the end, I say, where is it? I don't know where it started, but towards the end, I'm writing down my notes and I say, Georgiou and Michael have a heart-to-heart. And then another line later, I say, Stamets and Adira have a heart-to-heart. And then Michael and Booker have a heart-to-heart. And then Stamets and Culber have a heart-to-heart. And then the Admiral and Michael and Saru have a heart-to-heart. And I realized, I'm like, God, the last 15 minutes, the plot of the episode was over. The plot, the action, it was all over. And the last 15 minutes was just a bunch of heart-to-hearts. Like now, how do we feel about everything that just happened? You know, let's discuss it. So how do you guys,
why don't you tell her?
Yeah, I think we should have, in the spirit of Discovery episode 6, I think we should have a heart-to-heart about it. And we could cry. It's okay if you guys want to cry. You guys start.
Hold on, let me grab that hot sauce real quick.
Yeah, there we go.
You can chuck some hot sauce. That might make me cry a little bit.
No, it's funny you say that, because I actually did like the heart-to-heart scene that Admiral Vance, Burnham, and Saru had, because I noticed that you always do better when you confess the things that you're guilty of and just get it out of the way. And I thought Burnham did a great job of just saying, I shouldn't have done this, correct. I shouldn't have done this.
That was great, yeah.
Correct. And even in my own life, like, you know, when I was in trouble with my parents, for example, they'd say, you know what you did wrong? If you just admit it and say, I shouldn't have done this, I was late, I should have studied, whatever it is, and just kind of own it, you do better in life by owning to your mistakes, owning up to your, you know, whatever it is that you did wrong. And I thought that Burnham did a good job of owning up to it, you know, walking in there, facing the pressure. She didn't try to hide from the, you know, she was facing court-martial, she was facing punishment, but she walked in there and Book was like, now it's time to face the fire. And she's like, we'll see. But I just thought that it was good that she owned up to it. And it just made me think of the situations that I've been in, and where I felt like I made out better by just saying, I screwed up, I should have called you back, I should have done this, I was wrong, and, you know, I'm at your mercy type of situation.
I like Vance's ending response when she's like, you know, permission to speak, and he's like, it better be the best thing I've ever heard.
Well, it was funny because I was like, she's asking for permission for the first time, because she doesn't really ask for permission.
I do like it. We've seen it a couple times in Star Trek when somebody's really pissed off and they say, permission to speak freely. And they go, permission denied. Out of here. Except without that second part, but that's really what they mean. They're like, dismissed. No.
I do like when Doug went and was talking to or Saru was talking to Tilly about, you know, please tell me, you know, she's got a reason for not being here right now. And Tilly's response was, light her up.
Yeah.
You know, turn her in, do what you got to do. So your ass isn't on the firing post, and we all don't get labeled the same as she is, because she kind of screwed us right now.
Right. And, you know, Tilly's thinking, you know, that'll teach her to leave a cat in my room, you know, because That's the real reason why she said light her up. She's like, she left a damn cat in my room, and I'm not a cat person, which, by the way, upsets me because cats are wonderful things, wonderful creatures. But it was funny, though, when Tilly looks under the bed and she's like, I don't like you. Like, very good.
Yeah, but see, that's where I have a problem in this particular instance with the way they're writing Cirroc. He's supposed to know that already. He's
supposed to be a captain.
Yeah, why is Tilly telling him, hey, the right thing to do is this? She should be the opposite. She should be saying, don't turn her in. Just let it go. She'll be back safe. And Cirroc's like, no, if I do, then we're all going to get labeled like that. And we're going to lose the trust of da-da-da-da. And we won't, he's supposed to be the voice of logic and reason as the leader, and not like Tilly, who's like, no, I think you should do it like this. I actually have a problem with that. Because it's happened not just once, it's over and over again.
Consistent, yeah. It's kind of like all those times where Captain Sisko was asking Nog, hey, Nog, what should I do about Kira?
Yeah.
I really need your advice and tell me what to do, right? All those times.
Hey, Jake, I'm having a problem with the Borda.
Yeah. What do you think? And Jake's like,
go sell him a baseball card.
Dad, let me tell you, this is how you handle the Borda.
Don't you know? If you do it like this, we'll all be in there. No, I mean, it's just like, it's kind of weird for him to be getting that level of advice. Now, other kinds of things that were like maybe personal issues that were like he needed somebody to confide in, and that I can totally get that. You just need somebody to talk to, and it doesn't matter what rank they are in the whole thing. But that's like the football coach getting the calling the plays from the Gatorade guy,
the water boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, what do you think, flea flicker? He's like, no. Hail Mary. You always say that.
Yeah, it just doesn't work for me. So
I think with his response and removing her from the XO position, we're going to start seeing a more hardline Captain Cirroc. I think she's pretty much forcing him into the situation that he should already technically be. With putting his foot down or putting his foot up someone's backside.
Yeah. Which I liked, by the way. I liked him finally taking the initiative to say, "Hey, look, you're bad for the team. I gotta demote you essentially." And that was probably the best captain decision that he's made so far on the show, because he's actually now starting to take ownership and responsibility himself. And not kind of ask her like, Burnham, what should I do? Tilly, what should I do? You've got to find out. You got to figure out what you got to do on your own at this point.
Yeah, somebody forgot to tell him that he's the captain, huh?
Oh, he did kind of get like shoved into the role a little prior to what he should have.
Yeah.
In a normal universe.
But still, I mean, at that point, you just got to step into the thing and own it.
I will say it's really hard to recognize the actor Doug Jones in there. We know him well, good friend, and he does such a good job playing Cirroc that sometimes I can barely even see Doug in there. And I don't mean just like physically, but you see the actor and the character. And there was a point when he was talking, I think it was his voice was just completely different when he was talking to Michael and kind of letting her go. His voice was like lower and almost a whisper and kind of gravelly. And I was like, I don't even recognize that as Doug Jones's voice. So that was really cool to me because I didn't know he had that in his arsenal as well, which is to say like actually changing his voice, not just his delivery and his physicality, but the tone and sound of his voice. So that was pretty cool. Major kudos to him. I'm sure he's watching.
Yeah, and there was also moments there too when I was looking at his eyes, and there was a seriousness I could just register even with the context, even with the blue and all that. There was a moment where I just realized he was hardening and becoming like, I got to do this without you. I can't rely on you because I don't have any trust here. So I actually felt that conveyed. And just, Doug Jones is so phenomenal because, all that stuff on, and he still penetrates all that makeup. It's just a pretty amazing job. But I also want to give out a little shout out to the guys doing the visual effects in this episode.
Amazing.
I thought they did a great job. There was moments there when they had the ships crashing into the little mining area. I thought those scenes were kind of amazing. They had their ships flying in between and crashing down. I just really like the visual effects on this show, and I think it's A1.
Totally. I didn't understand during the best part for the visual effects when they were escaping from that scavenger planet or whatever it was. There was like a ship that kind of came out of the building and transformed into a ship to rescue them. Where did that ship come from? What was it? How did that happen? Like, how did part of the
ship, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Booker's ship, and it was Giorgio and Burnham were on that ship firing those things.
Right, so they were parked up against the building or something like that.
It was weird because I had the same thought that you did, because I didn't see the transition scene from where they were fighting or where they were trying to get away till them getting on Book's ship. I didn't see them getting on Book's ship. They didn't actually explain it. They only showed the ship when it was flying already, and then I had to figure that out myself because I realized who is this ship and why is it firing only at the people we want killed, right?
It was cool that it transformed like that, though.
I did like that part, yeah.
It was interesting.
That's John's way of giving it the D.
Yeah. That's not my way of giving it the D. I'm not opposed to it. It was odd to see in a starship. So, as far as being a nod to Transformers, yeah, sure. Star Trek.
Who was your favorite Transformer?
Oh, Prowl.
Prowl, nice. What about you, Cirroc? Did you have a favorite Transformer?
Optimus Prime.
Wow, nice. I don't know if I had one. I guess I kind of liked Sideswipe. He was a Lamborghini, the red Lamborghini. That's pretty cool. I was kind of disappointed that the Star Trek movies came out with like the lead guy being like Bumblebee. I'm like, Bumblebee was the dumbest one, you guys. But anyway,
and he's a GoBot too, by the way. He's not even.
He's a really goddamn GoBot. Give me a break. GoBots were like, I guess.
Well, see, they was it Leader 1 was the leader of the GoBots, but they also had Leader 1 as one of the mini-cons for Transformers. So dual roles on that one.
Anyway, sorry that I got us sidetracked, but I mean, Transformers were cool, That's all.
What did you think about the Bolian behind you when the guys?
No, well, this was Andorian.
Andorian, I'm sorry.
Right. He got his antennae cut. I thought the actor was really good. I'm surprised that he didn't die. I thought just when they introduced him, I'm like, oh, what's your name? Dead Meat? You're obviously going to die. Like, they set him up like he was obviously a character that was going to die. And then when he goes, and then they're fighting, I'm like, okay, here's a scene. He's going to die. And he's like, okay, he's going to die. Why are you going to save him? He's obviously going to die. And then they try to bring him, and I was like, wait.
But he's going to live?
I was like, what? How did that happen?
He's the way they're going to bring the Andorians back into the Federation.
Good thinking. Very good thinking.
You know what
he's their insider,
This episode reminded me of the A-Team, which I used to watch all the time.
I love it when a plan comes together. By the way, do you know which Cirroc, which A-Team member actually had a role in Star Trek? It was Dwight Schultz playing Murdoch. He played Lieutenant Barclay in Next Generation.
I jumped the gun on that one.
No, that was perfect.
Nice.
Lieutenant Broccoli. Anyway.
Broccoli.
So why was it like the A-Team?
Oh, well, because, we got to go in there and we got a mission. We got to go in there and get the black box and get the guy out of there and save the people and rescue the people. And then the whole thing will blow up and we'll make it just out in the nick of time. And I love it when a plan comes together. And that's how pretty much a lot of this Discovery has been. It's been done in this 18 format where, You know, you go in, you rescue, there's a couple fight scenes, and we're out of there. So yeah, it's a lot like the 18th.
What they needed was B.A. Baracus building up Booker's ship and like putting like extra guns on it and just really, and then coming and flying in last minute to save him with the music blaring. Oh, by the way, I thought the music, it has always been good in this series, but in this episode, I noticed it even more. In every scene, they were doing, you know, different spins on their theme song or something totally different sometimes. But I continue to be extremely impressed by the production value, not just the special effects and the sound, but also the scoring is absolutely A+ top notch. I want to make sure to mention that because it's mind-blowingly good. Looked like you're going to say something, John.
I was going to throw back too for another character that I'd like to see them bring back, Ren, played by Chris Heyerdahl. He's a fantastic actor. He played the Swede in Hell on Wheels alongside Anson Mount. He's the main bad guy Sam in the Van Helsing series that's going on right now. Just a fabulous actor that was it Jupiter?
Well,
in this he was
Ren is this guy, right? This is
Ren was the when they first went to Earth, the guys that were attacking Earth, that Book and Burnham all of a sudden like transported over, grabbed him, came back, here he is, here's your guy.
Oh wait.
And they took the mask off.
Oh, that the tall dude.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure his name was Ren.
So he's Ren because this guy's name is Ryn, Ryn. So there's a Rin and a Ren. And a Stimpy, I think, somewhere.
they need to have a Stimpy in there now. I was pretty sure it was good. Ren. I could be wrong on the name.
I'm also looking forward to seeing that bad guy that was in Homeland before. I forgot the actor's name, but in the Western, kind of like the second episode where he walks in and he was kind of like the tough guy of that second episode. And then Tilly gave him her purse and was like, here, you can have my purse and, you know, survive out there.
Enjoy your walk. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll look forward to Ren and Rin and whoever that guy's name is. I can't remember, but he was great. And obviously Osira will be coming soon. You guys have any final thoughts before we close this week's episode out?
Yeah, I took notice of a few things. One was there were some shots that the director chose to do in this episode. One was a close-up of Giorgio with Burnham in the background. Giorgio was really close up in the foreground.
Yes. Yeah, and it just had like half her face, right? Yeah.
Yes, and I liked that shot. There were other shots that I liked in this episode that I thought the director made some good choices. I'm going to credit him with those choices. So I wanted to make that kind of notice. The other thing I thought was this is just my own little stupid observation, but when Book and Burnham are in the turbo lift and they are about to have that kiss scene, and obviously Linus interrupts them and says, hey, wait a minute, this isn't the bathroom room. This isn't the science lab. What I thought was cool was they make the movement of that turbo lift, of that elevator, they make it look like it's moving by flickering the lights in the background.
Right.
And as soon as he presses stop, the lights go to solid on. So, it makes you feel like they've stopped. I just thought, wow, just the flickering of some lights gives you that sensation of movement, which I thought was pretty,
I saw how they do that trick firsthand on the set of the 2009 movie that I had the pleasure of acting in, right next to Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto and J.J. Abrams having the time of his life, seemingly. But what they do is they kind of have this translucent wall, right? And they just have like two, or however many you need, but at this point it was two like spotlights. And they go like, they go up and then they turn on and go like that. And so it shines the bright light back here, and then it turns off and goes up and then like that. So you just constantly have these two lights going like this. and they're just timed, you know, but it gives that perfect impression that you're going up or down on the turbo lift. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool trick.
Cool little trick.
Hopefully they have Linus still popping in and out of places in the next episode. Try to figure out the personal transporter.
They gotta do that for the next 4 years.
No, just one more episode, and then finally somebody just yanks the badge off and be like, all right, look, this is how it works. Get it right.
Yeah.
You're the new first officer. Act like it.
Or he needs to pop in someplace that he really shouldn't be and be like, oh God, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm trying to take a dump here, Linus.
Yeah. Oh, well, breathe through your nose. Some of the captains mentioned were Captain Rama, Captain Reiling, and Captain Sandra of the Le Guin. I did take quick notes of those. It was Captain Reiling 7 needs additional shields. They're dealing with solar flares. Kaiser 12 needs replicator replacement technology. It's got severe food shortages. Captain Sandra and the Le Guin will take a supply run to Naseth. Haven't heard of any of these. And we know about the Emerald Chain. A lot of cool little things. You know, you listen to those trying to catch things that we know, but we didn't know any of those, I don't think. I think they were all new.
Sounded it.
Maybe the people in the comments will let us know.
Also wanted to say my favorite line was Giorgio when she said, "I love me."
Yeah.
I thought that was just hilarious. Also like the line where Stamets says, Adira says, you know, he likes you to Stamets, and Stamets' reply was, well, clearly he's a genius. I like that one. But I also wanted to say that them bonding on the idea that they both love somebody that was dead or is dead or was dead. Right, I thought that was a nice little kind of bond that they built on that.
Totally, that works. Although I did not like when a female deer, told Stamets, "So you're like the Baum, huh?" I'm like, okay, so that slang lasted 1,200 years. 1,200 years from now, we're still going to be saying the Baum. I feel like maybe no. I feel like that's not a thing that will last. Slang does not last 1,000 years, dude, especially because language accelerates in its evolution. We won't even 100 years from now, we'll barely be able to recognize the language we're speaking. But anyway, that's just nerd talk for a different day. I don't like it when they use, 2020 slang in 3130 or whatever it is, or in any futuristic sci-fi. Like, come on, slang doesn't last that long.
You were supposed to say you're the nanogel or you're the photon or something like that.
Yeah, you're the nanogel. Nice.
So you're the nanogel.
Cool and smooth.
You guys just started something with that one.
Yeah.
I'd put money on it.
Nanogel.
You're going to see that all over the 7th Rule page. Yeah, you're badass. You're like the nanogel.
Check it out, by the way. Good mention, John. The 7th Rule Facebook page. We also have a Facebook group, the 7th Rule. That's with the 7th. You can also find us on Twitter. We're everywhere. Oh, by the way, check us out on YouTube, which is probably where you're watching this. But and definitely on Patreon. Patreon.com/the 7th Rule. 7th, not spelled out. Good to know. Good knowledge there, John. And let us know if you think we are the nanogel, was it?
Mm-hmm. You're the nanogel.
All right. Any last thoughts? John, associate producer, thank you so much for joining in with us. It's been a great time.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Thanks for representing the USS Aaron Eisenberg in the background, too. You see what you're doing.
There he is. Check out the USS Eisenberg on Facebook as well. It's a cool group starship page. I think you guys also have a page as well, right?
We've got a page and we've got a group. I can get you guys some links, and I'll be on the live stream with the chat later. I'll throw the link up in the chat too.
Perfect.
Sweet.
So check out all that good stuff, and also be sure to check out our friends over at Eagle Moss. They've been great. Again, that's herocollector.com/seventh rule. Seventh is spelled out SEVENTHRULE. And use the promo code number 7 RULE at checkout. You're going to get all kinds of awesome deals, free calendars, free stuff for the holidays, and high fives from us. And Book and Rin.
Okay.
Anyway, well, thank you all very much. We do want to also give a very quick special thanks to Carmen Shamwell, PJ Thomas, TJ Jackson-Bey, Bill Victor Arucan, Yvette Blackmon. By the way, something about Bill Cirroc. We'll talk about him a little later. Yvette Blackmon, Dennis Koch, Homer Frizzell, Eve England, and Marie Segal, Titus Mohler, Tim Baum, Susan B. Gruner, Rex A. Wood, and Robert Weissburg, or the Germans would pronounce it Weissburg, which means White Mountain, I believe.
Oh, okay. Good knowledge.
Anyway, thank you all very much. And always remember the 7th rule.